Okay, we are going to roast off a stuffed turkey breast. Now I've already shown you how to do a brine, and I've got the articles up and posted on how to brine for a turkey, and those are on the website. But in this case, we're doing just the breast, and we're going to do a little different than Southerners are used to. We're going to stuff it. So I've just finished off a batch of stuffing. I've got most of it over here in a casserole dish, but I've let this chill really well so I can put it in my bird. Now I took my bird out of the brine this morning, and I've given him several hours in the cooler on this rack to do what? He air dries. That'll make sure the skin is really crispy. So I've got my cold stuffing. And look here, when you're doing just a turkey breast, you have this big open blah. See? Yeah. Now the tricky thing is to kind of stuff it all in there without letting it fall out, but that's why we're using this baking rack setup. And that's all you're doing is just shoving it in there. Now when you put stuffing in a bird, you want it to be very loose, okay? You don't want to pack it in there. The reason is it's going to get full of, oh, that's about right. It's going to get full of raw poultry juices. It's already done. See? It's now contaminated. When you cook it, you're going to put whatever you got left right here in the neck. And he just goes in here like this. When you cook it, you want it to be able to fully come up to temperature, 165 degrees. That's the safety. Uh-oh. Wait. Okay, there we go. I got turkey hands and the sleeves are falling. There we go. So you want it to come up to 165 degrees, and that means inside the stuffing as well. If you pack it in there too tightly, chances are it's not going to get above that safety point. So because we brined it, we don't need to add any additional seasonings. I used thyme and rosemary and garlic and sage in this particular time. And I mimicked some of those flavors in my stuffing. So all we're going to do here is get him greasy. We're going to get him nice and buttered up all over his skin. Now, because this is a breast, and we don't have to worry about dark meat being done at one temperature and the light meat being done at another, I'm not doing the 500 and then turning it down to 350. I'm putting him in there at 350 degrees. After an hour, I'm going to put a thermometer right here in this pit part. I'm going to roast it until it gets to 165 degrees. And this was 8.5 pounds, I think, right under a 10-pound breast. It was a big one. It's anywhere from 15 minutes to 20 minutes per pound to do any type of turkey. And the reason you can't get more accurate than that is because it's impossible to know exactly how accurate your oven is, what the ambient temperature in the room is, how well it will maintain its heat, whether or not the door will be opened, and how cold your turkey was going in. So you've got a wide margin. For that reason, you have to have a thermometer, 165. Can I say that often enough? When it hits that temperature, it's perfect. You don't have to worry about times. You don't have to worry about charts. You don't have to worry that it's done. You know it's going to be perfect. Okay, now my oven's preheated. I'm going to stick him in there. I'm going to wash my buttery turkey hands, and I'll be back. I'll show you where to put the thermometer. I'll be back in a few minutes though. Okay, so we've been in here, it's been about 45 minutes. It's not exact. Now, one thing I got to say about if roasting off just a turkey breast, there's far less fat than if you do the whole thing. So in this case, despite the fact that we brined him, you're probably going to want to baste. See, even with the brine, if you can see just this little tiny bit, and he had a good bit of butter on him to start out with. Now you can use a turkey baster, of course. I don't have one. I just use a spoon. Okay. So, what you're looking for is the thickest part of the breast, which is right about in there. And you want to insert the probe of the thermometer until you're in the center of that, but without hitting the bone, which is going to be right about there. And I can tell when I've got a good spot because I can watch the readout on my thermometer and I can find the coldest spot. Okay? That's exactly where I want it because the coldest spot is what I need to rise the most. So I've got my alarm set for 165 degrees. And I guess about every 30 minutes or so, I'll be back to baste it. But other than that, I'm going to let it stay in here and do its own pretty little thing. rotate him a little so you get brown on all sides. I'll be back. Okay, so our stuffed turkey breast got basted off a couple more times with the pan drippings. It hit 165 degrees, and I just pulled it off, and I've been letting him sit here ever since. Now, I know he's rested enough and he's ready to carve. He reached a maximum of 173 degrees, and since then it has started falling. So we're pretty good to go. We know when it's on the downside with temperature, it's okay to carve. Probably be a little better if I let it get back below 165, but I'm not going to. Alright, so you remember we brined this off? And I told you about air drying to get really crispy skin. I want to show you something. If I can get him off of here. No, it's okay. Just listen. Listen. That is good. It's really good. And I'm going to come in here. And yeah, I know I got to fix this before I serve it. But I'm going to sneak. If I don't burn my fingers. Under here, we have all of that yummy stuffing, which has hot, baked off in there and absorbed all the juices from the turkey. Okay, so all the little effort, which none of it's hard, just takes a little thought, in brining and basting and letting it air dry. This is why you do it. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Alright, now you need to come in here and get this, because, yes, I'm burning my fingers. But can you see the juices? You see that? Look. Alright, no, you don't want them on the platter. You want them to stay in the meat. But we've rested, so it's going to be really juicy, especially because we brined it. Look at that. Can you see it? Are you getting that? Wait, let me get out of the way. See, look. It doesn't get any better than that. That, mon ami, is perfect. Juicy, succulent, and absolutely delicious. Roasted, stuffed turkey breast. Oh. That's some more.